Hello, everybody. I'd like to talk to everybody today about a little topic I've been thinking about a lot in the past couple days, and that's the sin of homosexuality and the acceptance of absurdity in this country. Now, you're probably think I'm going to go off on a tangent and say how all these absurd things that are coming about in this country are bad, like transgender and all of this. But I'm going to approach this from a society's point of view, not an individual's. So we're going with a Judaic society view today. Okay, firstly, the sin of homosexuality. There is no sin that is worse than the other. Jesus did not hang on a cross for 30 minutes for shoplifting, 2 hours for Grand Theft Auto, 90 minutes because you masturbate. All sin is the same. And the sin of homosexuality is exactly the same as any other sin of fornication. Whether you sleep with your girlfriend and you're not married, whether you cheat with your neighbor's wife, which might be a couple sins because that's coveting. And in my opinion, the exact same as if you were married, divorced, and then got remarried. I still think you're committing the sin of fornication, which is the same as homosexuality. However, there is one fornicating sin that does carry two sins in one, and that's inbreeding, because it is a sin of fornication, and it is also a sin of the blood, which brings disease out in people. So, sorry, Trump supporters, you're committing two sins when you have sex with your sister. So this brings me to the absurdity of society in this country, and it's slowly, of course, leaking over into the rest of the Western countries. I'm talking about this acceptance and defense of transgender, gender blurring, and whatever they call it, gender titles and all this. This serves a social purpose in humans. These are first world philosophies. Okay, some kid in Africa who's out on the Serengeti, who's trying to kill a gazelle and keep lions from eating it, isn't sitting there thinking about how much happier he would be if he could wear a dress. He's thinking about living. Okay? That's a third world problem. But here in the first world, in the United States, we have a standard of living that we've eliminated most third world problems from our lives. Of course, unless you're poor, which is a lot of people. So we start to invent dramas in our life just to occupy our minds, I guess, just to keep those neurons firing, just to have something to argue and debate about. Okay, this, of course, will launch 1,000 first world problems invented by 1,000 idiots. And, of course, a couple will catch on. But there will be some good problems that are addressed with this. Let's say, for example, like immigration. Let's say, for example, like the military-industrial complex. A person who's thinking about killing a gazelle on the Serengeti isn't sitting and thinking that maybe his government is spending about 25% too much on the military and 25% too less on social problems. He's in the now, okay? This luxury of the first world and first world philosophies enables us to examine social problems that will crop up more in the future. Now, however, this does bring up complete bullshit things like this transgender stuff and all that. However, if you look at history, history will show us that these problems will work themselves out. They always have. The kings and queens and the serfs in Europe, it eventually worked itself out. Okay? There's no more people by birthright being able to hoard and control people's lives and to be able to crush a person just on a whim. Well, unless they pay a lot of money for it. There's no more bowing to somebody just because of their birthright. And it took a while. And these social problems will take a while, but eventually they'll work themselves out. Eventually, great thinkers will export to other people great ideas, and they'll catch on. Like sooner or later in America, this is probably the most terrible thing wrong with this country right now, the military-industrial complex. Sooner or later, somebody's going to say, hey, I'm tired of paying for a new suspension or for my tires to be resealed because there's potholes in the road when this darn country's launching $9 million cruise missiles at a mud hut in the middle of the desert. I mean, it might not be tomorrow, but sooner or later somebody will bring this up. And this is the reason for the division of first world and third world problems. Problems to affect advanced civilized societies, and problems that advance a person or a society that has to live in the here and now, the third world people. Both of them serve a purpose. Both of them require a process of experimenting, learning, analyzing the results of these experiments. So next time you're sitting there saying that this American society is so corrupt and so stupid, well, there's a purpose for it, and sooner or later, the greater good will come out of this. Thank you, and please contribute if you can. I'd like to thank all the people that contributed last time, but nobody contributed. So you'll excuse me, I have to get ready to go prostitute myself in front of Go-Mart so I don't have to live on the streets. Yeah, that's just a joke, but I'm making a point. Oh, now I just realized absurdity can be used for a purpose. Have a good day, everybody, and please comment.